Good day. I am Kevin Kowalczyk. I am your instructor for ACA 122, College Transfer Success. This is an 8-week course, and every week I'm going to start the week by sort of introducing you to the materials and the resources and the things that you have to do during that week. So this introduction will be a little bit longer than most of those, I suspect, and I'm going to go through quite a few things, and I'm going to sort of walk you through the syllabus and what's expected in the class. And if at the end of this you're thinking, well, you know, I really can't do that this term, I'm not in this next week, I'm really backed up, then you really need to think about dropping, because there's a whole lot of stuff you need to do, and this is a simple class, but you are going to have to stay plugged in. And I'm going to go through those items right now. So I'm glad you're here. Let's get started. So this is the introduction to ACA 122, College Transfer Success. You'll notice that I've got this graphic on my class for the tools. What are the tools there for? Well, basically, and there's another video in this very class that I clarify this. The tools that you're picking up here are tools to either go to college further, you're maybe picking up tools to be certified, you're picking up some tools for a trade, and it's really important that you've set aside a couple years of your life for this. So the tools of the trade isn't necessarily a blue-collar reference, because really a lot of what you're going to get in this in your classes here will teach you a whole host of skills that will transfer from one career option to another career option, really just representing yourself well in life. Okay, so with that said, what I'm going to do is walk through the syllabus a little bit and just the LMS itself as we get started here. So when you get to the class, you're going to see basically this little layout here, and it's going to go through and give you some information about myself and about what to expect over the course of the next 8 weeks. Another thing it'll show us here are the course announcements, which is right at the very top of that there, and that's what I will send once a week or perhaps more. You'll get an email, but it'll also show up there. So if you click into the course announcements, that's where I'm communicating with you people during the course of the next 8 weeks. And then there's some information below that as well that is sort of self-evident. But let's take a look at the calendar itself, which I also have a breakout of. This is an 8-week course, but you'll notice what's going to happen. We've got week 1, week 2, and then week 3, and then week 1 is 4 days. Week 3 is 4 days. Week 2 is a full week. But with that said, spring break shows up, and we're going to miss that swath of what would have been week 4. So that's not week 4. Okay, week 4 is the following week as we get into April, and then we have all of April. And then you'll see, once we get all the way through April, at the very end of April and the first few days of May are essentially week 8. And that's the last week we'll probably meet. You really need everything done by that Friday. But what's going to happen as we move forward is you're going to find that there are assignments and whatnot that are put out, and then they're going to basically be, I'm going to have them come out initially on Monday, and then you have through Sunday to finish those. And then on Sunday at midnight, you know, the door closes and you can't turn anything else in. So I'll walk through some of that as we move forward. But this LMS, you can see I've got this little breakout explaining where we are and how to get around it within the LMS itself. Another things I want to touch on are the syllabus here. And so let's do that. First of all, time requirements. Online students should expect to spend roughly 1 hour and 30 minutes per week reviewing lessons. Students should plan to spend 1 to 3 additional hours per week to read and complete assignments, review notes, participate in discussions. In all, students should plan on dedicating 3 to 6 hours per week in order to succeed in this class. Now, if you're getting ahead and you're really just clipping right through it, well, that's great. But if you are struggling and it's difficult for you, well, then you're probably the person who needs it the most. So there's not going to be a lot of slack cut to people who aren't keeping up, especially if you're not in touch with me. Please stay in touch with me for this 8 weeks, because this class is pretty important. Now, another thing I want to tell you about is be aware that this is a 1-hour course, and that while not very difficult, it is important as a way for the college, your instructor, and your colleagues to meet you, and for you to become acquainted with how Blue Ridge works, as well as, well, your cohort and, well, me, your instructor. While the requirements may not be academically challenging, at least I don't believe so, this is the very reason why, if you're not doing well in this class, you may want to rethink your commitment to the college experience. This is a simple class, but it is asking you to keep up, okay? What it demands is attention, participation, and the ability to meet deadlines. I'm asking each student here to take it seriously as the first of many rungs on a ladder that requires you to step on each and every rung. So as we look at the syllabus, and you're going to find that this is all written into the syllabus, first of all, we've covered assignments and activities and quizzes, but you will be asked to participate in 1 forum per week for 7 weeks of 8. This requires you to read and comment on the contributions of your fellow students as well as myself. These only work if one makes their initial entry by Monday or Tuesday. So here's what I need you to do. I need you to make sure that you make your initial entry by Monday or Tuesday. And that is after our first four-day week. And then, like I said, the third week's also 4 days, so you'll have to structure it a little differently there. Then return on subsequent days prior to Sunday. So the way forums work is we're going to have you make a comment on Monday or Tuesday. Then you'll go back and you'll see what your fellows said, and you'll talk and you'll interact with them. And then on finally Sunday, the last day of the week, if you choose, you can go in and make a final statement or make a final contribution. But these forums are sort of important because they are 40% of your grade. Now, we've got a lot of different kinds of students here. We have traditional students fresh out of high school, some here to get a general education or an AA behind them so they can head to a four-year institution for a degree. I also have some true freshmen here who may be here to acquire trade skills and certification, as I said. We also get a collection of current high school students in the program. So some students who are still in high school who get to take a college class might be in this class as well to get a sense of what college is like. Now, we also have some non-traditional students. I was a non-traditional student. I went back in my 30s to get my master's, and I was older than most of my fellows there. So I get how that works. But for the non-traditional students whose interactions with their fellows may be more like a mentor more than a peer. But on these discussions, if you aren't really comfortable with all these different parts of your cohort, well, you need to get comfortable. And that's one of the points about a community college is we're basically trying to build a community. Okay, so a lot of that will be covered in the syllabus itself. And let's just talk about if the forums are 40%, what's next? Okay, during the 8 weeks, you'll be asked to interact with applications that attend to various assignments where you will upload and share evidence of completion. These will vary greatly, but will display on Monday of every week, as I said, and it'll allow you the following 6 days to do those. Okay, so assignments and activities are 30%. So whatever it is what I've come up with that week, you're going to have to walk through and participate with that and get it all done by Sunday night. Now, there's some quizzes and online interactions. Now, what I do is I'm a technologist and I build a lot of things like a video. If I ask you to watch a video, you have to watch the whole thing because at the end I'll have a question come up or questions come up. And if you don't take that, you won't get those points. So really important for everything I give you, don't just think, oh yeah, I'll just say I watched it, or oh, I probably know that. That's not what you're going to need to do. You really need to watch the video, and then you need to basically indicate that you did participate at the end of that. That quizzes and online interactions, when it says quizzes, I don't want you to think those are all tests. I give very few tests per se during the course of the semester, but all of those will have little quiz items. So understand that's going to happen. Anyways, quite often you'll be assigned viewing and completing an online activity, as I said. These will regularly provide a fashion for doing something that will send your points to your grade book. So make sure you're complete at the end of that, because it's going to basically say, at the end of this, you need to send something forward to make sure you get those points. Now, what I've been clicking through here on the side is, of course, the second part of the first week. The first week you have the first element on the left-hand side, and then the second element has this information. If you see here, there's 4 of these assignments that, let me explain. I'll have a video that explains this right above those, so you'll know. But these are 4 things and 4 activities you need to participate with this first week of class. 2 of those, the solo, Student Online Learning Orientation, and the BRO, which is the Blue Ridge Orientation, both of those are little classes that you have to take. They're a couple hours, not really. It's not really a full course. So you'll go in and you'll do those, and then you'll put some verification in these 2 little pieces that are called quizzes over here. But just understand there's a video that I put in here to explain that if you don't get it. But all that has to be done by the end of the week. There's also one forum we're going to have this week, and it's going to be a forum where everyone interacts with everybody else. The rest of the semester, you'll almost always have a group of 4 or 5 people in your group for a forum. So when you get in there, I'll ask a question like, what do you struggle with, or what are your strengths in school? And I want you to share honestly with your cohort, where you are in life. Maybe you're just stellar, so you'll be an encouragement to your fellows. Or maybe you have struggled before and you say, hey, I'm coming back to college and see what's going on. Well, that's also great, but what's going to happen this semester is every single week, I'm going to put you in a forum with 4 or 5 people. And if you don't participate, it's going to be pretty obvious that you're letting down your group. And you will see a few people a couple of times, but not many. So I'm going to have you get to know one another through using the forums this semester. And if it's 40% of the grade, you know that means a lot to me. So expect that. And if you can't keep up in the first 2 or 3 days, by all means, let me know, and we'll see if we can get you to drop the class before it costs you money, or before it costs you something about your grade point average. And then I'll close with this. Remember, please, that what I need you to do is make sure that you do the syllabus confirmation quiz in the first day or two. The syllabus confirmation quiz is something we put up there that you have to verify that you went through the syllabus. You'll see it when you get in there, and it's going to go over some of the stuff I just talked about. But what you have to do is you have to say, yeah, I took that. You'll be 10 little questions, and then what will happen is you'll get credit for that, and you will stay in the class. But what happens if you don't is the state has us automatically disenroll students who haven't participated in the first couple of days in an 8-week course. So you'll get bumped because the state says, well, we're not going to fund you for those individuals if they're not attending. Attending means doing the work. Okay, that's what I've got. So once again, I'm Kevin, and I'll be doing one of these every single week. And if it might be this longer, but please pay attention and watch them. And I'll ask you to do different things. A lot of these videos from here on out, I'll have you actually have to complete something at the end of the video to let me know that you saw all of it. With that, I hope it's a terrific 8 weeks, and don't hesitate to reach out to me, and do have a great day.